It's at this point in the video I would normally make a stupid joke, but Mizuno is not kidding around with these, so there will be no joke. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new made in Japan Mizuno Rebula 3 in the launch Inazuma Pack colorway, a boot that is easily a contender for the best release of 2019. The Rebula 3 really being the first major redesign that we've seen to this particular silo, really being a huge improvement over what we got from the first two generations, which were okay football boots, but they had their issues, especially when it comes to fit and overall comfort. This is a huge improvement, and dare I say, a Tiempo killer. I also got the opportunity to go to Japan and test out the Rebula 3 prior to the official release, so even though they just came out today, I actually have a lot of experience with these boots. Also, that trip was courtesy of Mizuno. Thank you to them for the experience. It was absolutely incredible, but please keep in mind that that trip has absolutely no bearing on my opinion of the Rebula 3. But I'm sure you guys weren't worried about that. Also, as I'm sure many of you guys have probably already seen, I actually got to participate in the Unisport review for the Rebula 3, so myself as well as J-Mike share our collective opinions. You get to see us play. We even do a little challenge at the end of the video that was a complete fail on my part. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to leave a little pop-up on screen. Go ahead and check it out. Speaking of Japan, there will be some content on the channel coming soon from that particular trip. And also, if you'd like to hear myself as well as J-Mike discuss the trip in more detail, tell some funny stories, make sure you're subscribed to the Boot Nerds podcast, because we're going to be doing an episode specifically about that, or at least talking about it very soon. What we're going to be doing in this video, however, is what we normally do, going over all of the details of the new Rebula 3, the way they fit and feel on feet, and essentially cover everything that you need to know. So if you'd like to learn more about these brand new boots, please stick around and watch the entire video. And if you're interested in a pair for yourself, I'm going to leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That's going to take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. If you guys do end up enjoying this video and perhaps would like to see more reviews of Mizuno boots, don't forget to support this one with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time and don't want to miss out on future content from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. As far as extras go, you get a box that's made in Japan. Also included with the boots is this little bag right here that actually contains a leather care kit. So inside, you're going to find some instructions. You're going to find a tube of leather cream, which is a really nice extra considering that they are kangaroo leather boots, and they even give you an applicator cloth. And they also include a string bag that you can't actually wear as a backpack, although it does have strings at the top to seal the bag up. It's a black bag with the gold made in Japan branding there on the front. Nothing on the back whatsoever. The boots are great. The string bags definitely could use a little bit of work. This gets a string bag rating of 3.15 out of 6.929. As for the boots themselves, they're very impressive, and like I said, a far stretch versus what we had from the first two generations of Rebula that really saw an emphasis on control with the combination of the internal memory foam control frame and of course the soft kangaroo leather. But with the Rebula 3, they maintained that emphasis on control, but they also added the element of speed. So while this is technically not a speed boot, that is kind of the role of the Morelia Neo 2 in the Mizuno boot lineup, there's definitely more of a speed-oriented design to this particular boot that I think most people into modern football boots in general are going to appreciate. And trust me when I say the design changes they've made are definitely for the better. Starting off with the upper, it is still made from some of the nicest kangaroo leather you will find on any pair of football boots. You could make the argument that this is the softest leather currently available, especially once broken in, which this is the pair that I actually wore in Japan. I don't have a brand new pair to show you, so just keep that in mind as I'm showing you these boots in this particular video. But super, super soft, and because of the internal control frame that not only is there for the sake of touch and adding this slightly dampened sensation to what is a slightly thinner leather than what we saw in the first two generations of Rebula, it's there as a reinforcement element as well. So the responsiveness, unlike the first two generations of Rebula, is really, really good and on par with just about any speed boot currently on the market, I would say. So because the leather is so thin and so soft, the touch on the ball is incredible. If you're a fan of leather boots, this is pretty much as good as it gets. And I do like the fact that they incorporated leather basically from the midfoot all the way through the forefoot and toe box area on both the lateral and medial side. So the parts of the boot that should be leather are leather, which I think is very, very important. It gives you a nice uniform touch across the entire foot. Another design change that you'll notice is that the laces are now more or less positioned directly down the middle. They are maybe slightly to the lateral side, but for the most part, I would call this a central lacing system that you'll notice has this kind of zigzag setup that is very reminiscent of what you'll find on the Morelia Neo line, which is good because this makes for not only a better wrap around your foot through the midfoot and forefoot area, it just makes for a more secure and customized fit when tying the laces tight. And kind of a signature element of the Mizuno brand is that it has a very deep lacing system. So despite the leather being so soft and flexible, because of the reinforcements and because of that lacing system, the lockdown and overall fit that you're able to achieve, even once the boots have softened up, is really, really impressive. The tongue design is also completely new. It's now made from a mesh and synthetic combination material, very similar, or if not exactly the same, to what you'll find through the midfoot and heel area on the upper as well, that has this unique kind of internal one-piece construction. So basically what you'll find is it attaches to the inside of the liner, basically at the bottom 4 lacing position. So from here down, it's actually a one-piece internal wrap, and then basically from there up, it's a detached tongue. So if I loosen the laces ever so slightly, you can actually see that it's quite wide at the top. So it's kind of got these winged edges that kind of fold in and wrap along the side of your foot that really allows the tongue to give you this perfect wrap around the top part of the boot, so it's not bunching up in material, and because it's one piece at the bottom, the tongue does not have the ability to slide from side to side, so it stays in place really, really nicely. This is a very smart design and a great way of giving you the benefit of a one-piece design, but still having a very large opening to get your foot in and out of the boot very easily. Through the midfoot and heel area, the part that is blue and clearly not leather, you will find what the tongue is made of, and that is a mesh-based synthetic material with basically these synthetic kind of strips, almost like a webbing basically, as a reinforcement element. This material is very thin and very lightweight, but still gives you the structure that you need through this area of the boot. So it just has a nice solid feel on feet in general. You'll also notice that the heel has been completely redesigned in regards to its overall shape, that I think is a huge improvement over the first 2 generations of Rebula. Way better looking, way more comfortable. It even comes up a little bit higher at the back than you would normally see on most low-cut football boots, because this is obviously a low-cut design, but I really didn't find that there were any issues with discomfort whatsoever. There is an internal plastic heel counter that is nice and solid, and as far as the heel liner is concerned, it is Mizuno's classic synthetic suede material. Not a lot of extra padding if I'm being honest, but because of its kind of very contoured shape, it seems to lock your heel in place really effectively, and again, the comfort is as good as it gets. The insole is fully removable and looks like all the other made in Japan boots, but it is actually a little bit different because you'll notice that the liner on the surface is more of a standard mesh material rather than that rough kind of sandpaper-like texturing like you'll find on previous generation Rebulas and even the Neo 2 model, and that's actually from feedback that Mizuno got from a lot of their customers, where they found that the sandpaper-like texturing, when you're actually putting the boots on, it grips your socks so well that it kind of bunches them up and it makes them a little bit difficult to put on and adjust your socks properly. Personally, I really didn't have any issues with that. I didn't mind spending the extra 10 seconds to have the added grip from the insole, but I guess Mizuno found that this is just a better solution. It's basically a more normal insole with a standard mesh liner, single layer of foam. I personally preferred the sandpaper-like texturing, but at the same time, I didn't have any issues with this insole. The sole plate and stud pattern has also been completely redesigned. You'll notice that with the sole plate, it does have some visual similarities, like the D-flex groove here through the midfoot, but the internal spine that they've incorporated here, basically running from the heel into the lateral side of the forefoot, really does make for a big difference in regards to how this sole plate bends with your foot. It just feels a lot more natural this time around, and to me is one of the best feeling sole plates on the market right now. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, that has also been reworked basically to be more aggressive. It's a very similar layout to what you'll find on the Morelia Neo 2, but with some oval shaped studs incorporated into the mix. So you'll find 4 ovals in the heel, you'll find 2 ovals here on the lateral side of the forefoot. All the other studs in the forefoot are pretty much round in shape, very similar to a Morelia Neo. Then you have one little toe pick stud there as well for the sake of added traction at the tip of the toe. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, it really is more aggressive than I was honestly expecting, and a cool new element, or a carryover element I should say, from the Rebula that I don't think really got the attention that it deserves based on the sole plate being kind of subpar are the reinforced studs. So you'll notice that some of the studs, the ones in the heel, basically the oval shaped ones, have this kind of spine running through the middle. It's blue with clear plastic, and that actually adds a ton of extra stiffness to those studs in particular for the sake of stability. It's really difficult to say whether or not it actually makes any kind of difference, but like I said, the feel and general traction that I got from this sole plate and stud pattern combo is something that I was really impressed with. When it comes to weight, the Rebula 3 is light. The emphasis, like I said, was not just on control this time around, but also speed, and the Rebula 3 in general has more of a speed boot vibe than I was honestly expecting. In a size 9.5 US, not in brand new condition, which will have some bearing on the weight. You can see that they weigh in at what is a pretty lightweight 7.65 ounces, the equivalent of 217 grams, which is about 0.3 to 0.4 ounces less than the Mizuno Rebula 2 that it replaces, which is not a huge amount of weight, but I can tell you based on how these feel on feet, they're pretty much as light as anything. Unless you put on a Neo 2 on your other foot, they're going to feel very, very lightweight. So if that's the feel that you're after, you're not going to be unhappy with these. So as you might have expected, I have swapped out the stock white laces that have this little blue detail in them as well. They actually look quite good, but typical Mizuno, while the laces are good quality, they're very, very chunky, unnecessarily so. So I've swapped them out for some royal blue reflective SR4U replacement laces that perfectly match the royal blue on the upper and kind of accent really nicely with the tongue, giving the boots, I think, a slightly sleeker look, and it just makes them unique in comparison to everyone else with the same one. So if you're looking to change up the style of your boots in a very inexpensive way, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, go ahead and check it out. On feet, the Rebula 3 feels really, really good and pretty much unlike the Rebula 2 that it replaces, mainly based on the fact that the design is so drastically different. The Kangaroo leather is very thin, very soft. The control frame seems to add basically no stiffness to the upper whatsoever, but still manages to reinforce it very nicely. So while the leather is super soft out of the box, after about 20 minutes or so, it softens up even more and pretty much instantly molds to the shape of your foot, really giving you this custom fit and a level of comfort that you really can't achieve from anything else other than a made in Japan Mizuno product. As far as the synthetic kind of mesh-based material that you have through the midfoot, it's very thin, but it does a very good job of adding a lot of reinforcement through the midfoot and just keeping your foot locked in place without adding extra bulk and really added stiffness to the boot. There's definitely a little bit of a tightness through the midfoot out of the box. It took me about 20 minutes to get used to the minor foot cramping, but that's pretty normal for me based on the fact that I do have slightly flat feet. Other than that, the boots are pretty much perfectly comfortable from the get-go, and for most people, you're really not going to have any issues with break-in whatsoever. The sole plate has great flexibility to it, and it's just one of the most natural-feeling football boots that I've worn that still has tons and tons of lockdown and responsiveness, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but somehow Mizuno has done it. As far as the shape is concerned, it's been completely reworked in comparison to past Rebulas, so they're definitely a little bit wider, and they have increased the volume as well, but the shape just feels so much better. The Rebula had kind of a weird fit to it. It was almost too low in regards to volume through the toe box and forefoot. This does not suffer from that issue, and for most people, I think is going to be a very, very solid fit. Not overly wide, definitely not overly narrow, kind of somewhere in the middle. So for most people, you're not going to have any problems, and because the leather will stretch, once you break them in, they'll pretty much form to the shape of anyone's foot. And as far as the sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size for the best possible fit. So in conclusion, and if I'm being perfectly honest, the Rebula Silo from Mizuno I've really never been a big fan of, mainly because it replaced the Wave Ignitus line, which is one of my all-time favorite series of boots. And the Rebula 1 and 2, while the build quality was great, while the quality of the leather was world-class, it just had too many other issues for me to truly recommend it. With the Rebula 3, however, they have fixed pretty much every single problem that I had with the Rebula 1 and 2. The Kangaroo leather is incredible. The control frame really, really good. The responsiveness is top notch. The fit is better than it's ever been. One of the best fitting Mizuno boots that I think I've personally ever worn. They're very comfortable. The traction is great. The sole plate is really good. It's nice and lightweight. It has every performance characteristic you could possibly ask for in a pair of football boots. Are they expensive? Yes, but the build quality is tremendous. And if you're looking for a durable pair of football boots, you could always depend on a made in Japan Mizuno product. All I have to say is that this basically incorporates all the same elements that you get on the Tiempo Legend 7 Elite, which is an excellent boot, a top performer, no doubt about it, and definitely a little bit cheaper than the Rebula 3, but this does all of those things that much better. So for now, I think that this is the Tiempo killer, and I really think that Nike needs to come out with something very special with this next generation Tiempo to really beat out the Rebula 3, because this, to me, is the bar. They've set the bar. The bar has been set, and this is the new bar. Does that make sense? I think they know what I mean. Anyways, guys, that's it for my review. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That's going to take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes. We'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. All my social media information is linked down below as well, so follow me there if you don't already. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.